Part two is the open source bit, the cloud. So we have some prepared questions that several of you put into Santa's box yesterday. So I have them written down here, so I'll call on the person who asked the question to stand up and ask it. And if you want to address it to the panel in general or to any individual, feel free to specify. So first we have Jay from C-Step with the first question, who I hope is here.
I'm here.
Please stand up. Oh no, please sit down with the microphone.
Okay, the question I have is, has the think tank community on the whole made a compelling case to justify support from global and local funding agencies? Honestly.
So the thing that I really liked about that question was the last word, the rhetorical use of the word honestly. So, Goran, as a guest donor, have you been impressed? Are you taken?
Honestly, we are still swimming. No, we are still swimming. You know, I like to look at this issue in a way. Okay, just looking at the policy research function. So the first question is it part of the policy process? In Central and Eastern Europe, it has not been part in most of the countries. Unfortunately, I have to say, in a lot of countries today, still it's not where it should be. So if you have a value, if you say, okay, a healthy policy process cannot exist without evidence-based research, without, you know, and if you have politicians who still, you know, do like this and guess the wind or are populist and then they just kind of orient themselves with pollings, you know, that's a first justification. Then the second line of justification is, okay, who can provide it in the society? And you know, I'm never ready to write a blank check to think tanks and say, oh, think tanks could. Actually, if you look at the transition stories of Central and Eastern Europe, you will see a number of countries where actually there were no think tanks. And they didn't develop for a good reason, because there were alternatives, because there were universities, because the political parties were there, because the consultants were a bit more mature than they will be in other places, because maybe the NGOs have a function. So in that respect, I would say you have to see where the research function takes, and then you have to sort of make not only a pitch, but to be honest to yourself and say, are we in the think tanks better than the rest in providing this policy research function? And I tend to believe, at least in the region where we operate, that still the think tanks have a comparative advantage, especially in terms of quality of the research provided. If you ask me, am I satisfied with that? No. But is it better than an NGO, what the NGO produces? Certainly yes. Does it have a long-term span, which is missing with a lot of consultants' products? It does. So, you know, it's a lot of trade-offs, but I think it's important. So honestly,
Central bank. Policy documents used to be written in Washington, and they would be highly confidential. They would be hardly known by over 3-4 people. But the level of transparency, the level of public debate has changed over time. And you now see governments looking to some of the institutions, local institutions in policy making. So I think things are changing, and changing for the better.